It's writing time, one of our favorite times of day. And I want to take a moment just to remind you, because it's been a few days since you did any writing on your book, about the things we've been learning about. We've been really talking about focusing in, telling an important thing to our story. And we've talked about how we don't have to tell the whole pie, but we focus in on one little slice of the pie. And as we talk about those and we focus in on one thing, we've been making sure that we say things like who the story is about and what the story is, what's happening, who it is. And we always make sure on our first page that we tell the who and the what, so people will know what the story is going to be. We've been adding our feelings, if we're happy, if we're scared, if we're excited or sleepy or sad or surprised, all those different feelings we have. We've been adding those in to help the reader feel like they're really there and they really are understanding what's happening. And then we've been adding our speech bubbles because it's always good for us to see what the character's saying. So we've been adding some speech bubbles. We've also been adding some thought bubbles to tell us maybe what somebody's thinking, but yet they don't say it out loud. We've worked on being a smarty speller. Remember, don't ask mom or dad how to spell the word. Stretch it out like a snake. Then write down all the sounds that you hear. And of course, we said if we were at school, we'd look on our word wall. We don't have that at home. But you can also think about things you know. Like if you know the word look and you want to write the word cook, all you got to do is just change the first letter. So think about the hunks and the chunks of words that we already know. And now we're thinking about our 5 senses. We're adding things to our story where we can, things we see, things we smell, things we taste, that we hear, that we touch. It makes our story so much more interesting, and it makes the reader feel like they're really there. So I was working on a story that I showed you last week about my family, and it said on Christmas Eve, my family and I baked cookies. The dough was cold and sticky. You know how that dough just gets stuck to your hands? Can't you imagine that? When I gave you the words cold and sticky, how it felt? And then next, I told you we cut out lots of shapes. We put them in the oven to bake, and they smelled so delicious. Oh, can you imagine it? It smelled so delicious. We couldn't wait to eat them. So now I'm ready to do my next page of my story. And you know, some stories are long and some stories are shorter. This is going to be the last page of my story today. I'm going to finish it up. And we talked about that we want to finish a story well. We're going to give it a really good ending. So let's look at what would be the ending to my story today. All right, so I'm ready to tell you what next because we were smelling those cookies in the oven. So when it was time, we took them out. So I'm going to say, we took the cookies out, and you know what you have to do, don't you? Let them cool. Let them cool. And that's the end of that sentence. So I put my period there to show it's the end of that sentence. Now, before I begin my new sentence, I've got to begin with a capital letter. So I'm going to tell you after they cooled what we did. Well, we iced them. So we decorated them with icing. That's the fun part, isn't it? Decorating them all up with all sorts of icing and sprinkles and things. And look again, I began with a capital letter. I left spaces in between all of my words, and now I ended with a period. Okay, we took the cookies out and let them cool. We decorated them with icing. You know what we get to do now, finally. We get to eat them. Yay. Finally, we could eat them. And I'm going to put an exclamation point because that was exciting. Finally, we could eat them. They were, I'm going to use a big word. Ready? Delicious. Delicious. And I'm going to use another exclamation point because it's so good. They're so delicious. And now I'm going to put something here to end my story well. I'm going to say, I'm so glad, because I want you to know my feelings, we made cookies. because I am very glad that my family got to do that together. So now I'm ready to draw my picture for you to show you what we did. Okay, so here you can see all the things that I put in my picture. I put my trays with my cookies all decorated, and I've got my family all standing here, and everybody's holding a cookie up in their hand. Everybody's ready to eat. And I think I'll add a thought bubble to Elena, and I'm gonna do some little dots coming out, and her thought bubble's gonna say yum with a big exclamation point. And I'm gonna put that coming from her head because she's thinking, yum, I can't wait to eat this cookie. And this is like when they're looking at me because I wanna take their picture, of course, because you guys know how Miss Smith loves to take pictures. So I'm gonna put something that's coming out of Anna's mouth because this is something that was said. She says, hurry up and take the picture. Yeah, they say that to me just like you guys might do sometimes because you want to hurry up, Miss Smith, get ready and get finished. And so I'm going to put that speech bubble coming out of her mouth because she's like, hurry up and take the picture so that we can eat these cookies. All right, so today I want you to try your best to finish up the story that you're working on. If you can't get it all done in writing time today, maybe just tomorrow or some other day, you can take a few minutes and finish up that story, because the next time that we get together on here to do writing, we're going to start a new kind of writing, and you're really going to want to get into it. So go ahead and finish your story where you're doing a story about yourself, something that really happened to you, and where you're telling a slice of the pie. Finish those stories up, and then get ready for a new kind of writing on Thursday when we get together to write. I can't wait to hear the rest of your stories.